Okay, so in previous videos, when I was rigging, you may have watched those videos and thought, I think Greg's making a mistake. And let me show you from other videos that I've made in the past. You may have expected that when I created a peg, I was going to go under the layers property here and make some changes to this. And so we've already talked about enabling 3D to be able to move back in depth. But there are two different ways in which Toon Boom can calculate the translations on a peg. And on a drawing, by default, it sets it to this section here that says separate. And what that does is it gives us Euler interpretation keys, or interpolation keys, that show us where our object is. And then there's also 3D path. And so I currently have an animation on here, and it is set to 3D path. But if after I've animated it, if I click on separate, and like all my drawing is doing is moving across the screen. This is the background and the camera. Actually, let me temporarily turn the camera off just so we can see this. So now we have this drawing just going across the screen like this. But if I go to my function editor, you'll see what we have is we don't just have the X, Y, and Z coordinates of this. We have path X, path Y, path Z, and then we also have this path velocity. And so essentially what this is doing is it's drawing a path in all three directions, and it's creating a third curve here that controls time. And so with that, I could actually speed up or slow down how my object gets from point A to point B. So this is actually, to me, this one's a really hard one to understand. This function editor is really hard to understand in this format, and it really is because of this path velocity. But if I were to click separate, it actually looks like everything's fine, but now my animation actually isn't doing anything because those keyframes I set were in 3D path, not in separate. So I'll show you, let's just undo this and go back to 3D path. So why did I do that? And it wasn't an accident. It's because I want to show you how to deal with this path velocity, but in my opinion, the function editor isn't the best way to handle the 3D path types of keyframes. I will mention angle is still the same either way. Right? I can still animate rotations either way on a peg. This is just for translations. So if I go back to my timeline and watch this animation, right, I want to be able to visualize this a little bit better. So I'm going to click this button right here. This is our onion skinning, and it's going to, I just need to click it once. We're going to see a couple of green circles on the other side of our yellow circle. And as I start moving forward, you'll see that there's a couple of red circles, and we get this range here, right? And what this shows us is the frames that are going to come after and the frames that came before. And I can actually extend this out quite a ways. And I can do it in both directions if I wanted. I could do this one this way too. So I'll go ahead and leave it kind of big here like this, right? But what I really want you to see is when I'm back here on this first frame, I'll extend this all the way out to my end. Notice that the distance the ball is traveling every frame is similar, right? The amount of space it moves is the same. And that is because of the way this interpolation is working in here. The path velocity is constant. If I were to frame this up where I can find it, I can't see it right now. Let me go back to timeline and choose it. Make sure I got it chosen. There we go. And so if I uncheck path velocity here, it's constant. Right? And this is basically like, think of time. Time is linearly, time is always going forward. And so that's what's happening here. Time is always going forward. And if I wanted to change this and tell it that time should slow down as I get closer to this keyframe, that's how I would do it. And if I wanted to change it and say time should speed up, this is how I would do it. And you'll see the difference I'm getting in those two different interpolations. But if that's all I'm really doing is I'm telling it to ease in or ease out. I'm saying ease out of this keyframe here and go fast into the next keyframe. Or I'm saying go fast out of this keyframe and fast into this keyframe, or fast out of this keyframe and ease into this keyframe. All of those are going to give me different results, and they're going to give me a different spacing. So you'll notice with this one, the first frame takes a huge jump forward and then slows down. The spacing gets smaller and smaller every frame. Now, to me, this function editor, it works fine if I just got these two keyframes to deal with, but if I'm dealing with something much more complicated, sometimes it can be kind of confusing. So I'm going to set this back to what it was by default. If I select both of these, this little drop-down box right here would allow us to set an easing type. And what I'm going to do with both of those selected is I'm just going to set that back to linear. So this is where we started. Right? So if I select this keyframe, what this is defining when I change this is how it leaves this keyframe that I'm currently on and goes into the next keyframe. And right now it's going at a constant rate out of this keyframe and a constant rate into this keyframe. So it's just a constant rate all the way through. If I click this and go to my drop down here, you'll see I have this ease in and ease out. Right? And what that's going to do is make it ease out of this keyframe and then ease into this one. And so that's going to give us a little bit of a different animation. I'm actually going to limit my time range here so we can see this better. So I can continue to change that. I can change this to say something more like this, which is go slow out of the first keyframe, but really fast into the last keyframe. And what that's going to look like is like the object hits a wall. If I extend this out a little longer so you can see it, feels like it slams into a wall and stops, right? It slowly accelerates, but then it hits something hard, right? Or I could do it the other way around, this one, and that's going to feel like something hits it and knocks it forward. So this is going to allow us to control that easing and spacing just right here in our timeline. And so I'm going to make an attempt to do that. I'm actually just going to delete these two now and go back to my original animation over here. And so I'm going to try some of this on Winslow just to see, right? So one of the things that I've been noticing is how Winslow, I'm going to turn off my spacing or my onion skinning here. And what I've been noticing is how Winslow, I got frame 82, how Winslow lands here, right? And if I turn on my ghosting on that, can we actually see that? Oh, I'm not sure why my onion skinning isn't showing. Oh, okay, because I didn't have him selected. It's kind of hard to see here, but you'll see like the spacing of that bump is very even all the way down there, right? And what I'd like to do is change that to ease out of that frame and hit kind of harder. What that's going to do is make it feel like he slams into the ground a little bit, right? So turn off that now a little bit. Let's switch. So you can feel him like slam down here a little harder. In fact, so hard that I kind of feel like I need to add like a little bit of a squish to his head when he hits the ground there. So I'll probably add like an extra keyframe after that here, where I could do something like have him so he kind of hits here and pops back up. Yeah. So sort of the same here, how he jumps up here, he just kind of drifts up in the air, right? And if I grab his character and go back to my onion skinning, got way too much showing there. Let's try this. You can kind of see that spacing, right? Just like evenly divided in between there, space, right? And what I would like to do is make that one a little closer to this one. And so the way I'm going to do that is the inverse of this. I want it to go fast out and ease into that. And that might actually be a little too fast. Let's try like that. And that should make it feel like my character pops up in the air. So let's see. There we go. So that's feeling a little bit better now. And I can start thinking about that with all of these, right? If I want it to ease in and ease out to both of these, maybe I select here, and I'm going to do this sort of ease in, ease out. Let's do it. I'm going to turn off my ghosting for a second. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, so like that feels much better now. And then he swoops around, right? And so this is kind of even as well. So I'd like to ease out of that, go fast through this one. So this one's actually set to the correct key here. So I'd like to ease out of this one. So it'd be like this, and go fast through this one. And then on this one, I would like to ease in to this next one. So that's going to be more like this. There we go. Now, the last thing I would say is this scrunch down here is even as well. So I would select this one, and I think I would have it, I want to have it kind of go out fast and ease in to the next one. So that's, again, going to be like this one. Let's see what this looks like now. So that's way better. Now, there's still little things I want to fix. Like, for example, I think that overlap on the, the overlap on the head and everything here is like, this is all happening together. And I want to try to play around with some of those keyframes on this to see if I can maybe make this motion a little smoother. It's not feeling like an arc as much as feeling like a bop down, back up. So I may add some more keyframes in between here to make that happen.